Good day, gentlemen. How are you?
Good day.
Good day.
I'm well.
Good. This is episode 117.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at with your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
How'd you like that intro?
That was pretty good. Caught me off guard a little bit.
Caught you off guard, exactly. Somebody's commenting on a sexy voice, and I'm not sure whose voice they're calling sexy.
Must have been Bryce's.
Must have been
Undoubtedly
mine. I've got noticed twice.
Yeah, so Bryce has a story, actually. Bryce got recognized recently because of the podcast.
I was at my I was doing a wine tasting for Mira Wine, and we had someone just like a random drop-in come in and join the tasting, and he was like, "Are you the same Bryce from the Ultimate Deck Podcast?" I was like, "Seriously?" Yeah. He's like, do you do the other 18 as well? Are you the Bryce from the other 18? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm kind of a little bit of a fan, I guess. He's like, what?
Did you sign anything?
No, I didn't sign
Come on.
anything.
That is
like,
fantastic.
Pull a Sharpie out and be like, okay, well,
Yeah,
what
let's do this.
What are we signing? Nothing. You're not signing anything.
I wish I knew who, but maybe it's not anybody we'd know, I guess.
I think his name was
Somebody
like
listens.
Ron Price. Give him a shout out if he's
Okay.
still listening.
Perfect. Have you ever had any recognition from the pod or YouTube or anything?
I don't think so. Like the only thing that we would have is down in the States. We'd have some people.
Yeah,
that would
lots
talk
of
to
stuff
us
in the States with the Instagram community and the shows, right?
But that's like one dude.
Off the top of my head, I've had
One dude.
this guy.
Hey, what?
And his name is Justin. He used to be on the podcast. Justin was Bryce, and then I've had two that I can remember, and so I'll tell my stories now that Bryce has brought these up, and then we'll get into the uselessness.
This isn't.
The one,
So we're clear.
Yeah,
this is not
this
part
is
of the uselessness.
This is the good stuff here. The one was funny because they actually mistook me for you, so you kind of have had one.
Oh.
But I was at Kenosi Lake camping, and I went for a walk to the bathrooms one day and by the playgrounds, and I believe I might have been walking with my little guy. He's like 3 years old, whatever. And this girl about my age, probably like 35, 40 years old, it's like staring, and I didn't know why, and I was just kind of like gave her a nod and was just going to walk by because I didn't know who it was. And she's like, are you from the Ultimate Deck Shop by chance? I was like, yeah, I am. And she's like, oh, I love watching your stuff on YouTube. We watch it all the time. Like, it's really good. Your dad's Harry, right? Your dad's Harry Laurent? I was like, oh, that's funny. I was like, you got everything right up to this point. I am from the Ultimate Deck Shop. We do the YouTube stuff, but you think I'm Wade, and I'm actually the other guy.
Not Wade.
I'm Shane. Oh, okay. Well, great job. I love watching the YouTube. The second one was at a Rough Rider game, and we were sitting. It was my wife, and we were with somebody. I don't remember who it was now. I think it was with Justin, actually. We were with Justin and his wife.
Yep.
And this guy comes wandering down the stairs, stops at our aisle, and I could see him wandering up the stairs. I could see him go by me, like staring at me hard. And I was like, again, no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
Goes past me, sits down.
Happens all the time. So attractive.
Right. Exactly.
Always.
Forgot
Wade
about it. I was
doesn't
like,
notice.
oh, that's weird. The guy. I was trying to think, like, do I know the guy from somewhere? Comes back down. He's hammered. Comes back down. He's like, hey, you're Shane from the Ultimate Deck Podcast, right? And I was like, yeah, I am, man. He's like, I love what you guys do. It's so good. I listen to the podcast all the time. I watch the YouTube stuff. You guys are hilarious. And he's going on and on. And my wife's like laughing. Justin's laughing uncontrollably because he's like, this isn't happening right now.
This is not happening.
So anyways, a couple of fans out there.
We got some fans.
Yeah, 3 of them sounds like.
Three. And we
Local.
found them. We found them all.
2 from here, 1 in the States. And your guy, Ron.
The
My guy, Ron.
funny thing is, was that his actual name, Ron Price?
I think so, yeah.
It sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know.
He was building a deck this summer. He told me that's why he started listening.
Oh,
Like he's
awesome.
about to build one this
No,
summer?
he built one
Oh, in 2020.
in 2020. Been listening ever
and
since.
not from us.
Yikes. Yeah.
We'll have to look him up and see if we got his name in the system, but that doesn't sound familiar as a customer.
Look at Westrom's comment.
This is going to be terrible.
That's really funny.
Sorry for bothering you at a football game, Shane, says Mark Westrom. Yeah, so what else did I want to talk to you guys about today?
What did you do this morning?
What
Oh.
did you do?
Yeah, okay. So I get an early wake up this morning. Here, I fell asleep on the couch.
Why are you coming to work at 12:30 in the afternoon?
There's a story behind it. It's not a great story, but it's like for you guys in the building that can smell me, you're going to want an explanation.
It's a story.
Now everybody else wants an explanation. See what I did there? So anyways, I crashed on the couch last night hard. Usually I work at night, and like last night, my 14-year-old was like, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight, Dad?" And I was like, I had to say yes because I haven't done much of them lately. I was just like, yeah, I should.
He's 14.
That sounds horrible.
He's 14. It's time to start paying attention to this.
I know,
He's not
right.
going anywhere.
Exactly.
I just mean like I had big plans of doing some work again last night, but then he wanted to watch a movie, and I was like, shoot, okay. So we put on a movie.
Fine, but it better be a good one.
It wasn't.
Better be about Tiger Woods.
It wasn't about Tiger Woods either. What was it about? Which movie was it? Holy shit. I fell asleep early. I fell asleep in this thing pretty early. Oh, it was with Robert De Niro and a kid. And I don't remember what it's called, but the Robert De Niro plays a grandpa. It's Grandpa something.
Bad Grandpa.
Is that what it's called?
I think it's got Zac Efron in it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, Ron.
I didn't make it that far.
Ron Price has not purchased a single thing from us.
Ron Price listened to our podcast and bought somewhere else. Didn't even get a quote.
Not
Oh,
a
no.
single thing.
Boy, I hope you had the name wrong.
Or maybe they didn't get his info.
Nope.
Nope.
That doesn't happen. Okay, so anyways, you watched Bad Grandpa.
So anyways, it's the one like Robert De Niro, his daughter moves him in because he's getting old and lives by himself, and he has to take over the kid's room, like the 10-year-old's bedroom. And the
Okay.
10-year-old loses the bedroom to his grandpa and has to go upstairs. And so they get into like a war
The war with Grandpa.
between, the kid and his friends against the grandpa and his friends. And this is where I fell asleep. I don't know how it
Well,
happened.
that actually sounds pretty entertaining.
It looked like it could have been good, and it was one we could both watch, right? And it was interesting. So anyway, because I'm almost a grandpa and he's the kid. But anyway, so I fell asleep on the couch. Oh, gone. 6
Yep.
o'clock. I wake up this morning because
Oh, sorry. I thought you fell asleep at 6 p.m. I was like, wow.
no, it would have been about 10. Would have been about 10 o'clock
Okay,
that
well,
I fell
that's
asleep on the couch. I just didn't wake up until 6. I heard the
Right.
babies cry at about 4:30. I went right back to sleep.
That's not my problem.
Like it wasn't even
That's
happening.
I'm on the couch.
Yeah, that's a
So-
future Shane problem.
So anyways, wake up this morning, 6 o'clock, and my wife's like, I got a text from the daycare that at 4 a.m. or something that she had ended up in emergency all night with her daughter, so she's closed today. She can't go in. She's like, but I have to I've got to hire a bunch of people today and be on the phone all day, and I've got to make this cake for this lady. It was the cake, whatever. She had a bunch of shit to do, and I was like, okay. And I didn't even say anything to her. I just texted you guys right away. I was like, sounds like I'll be working from home today, because I was like, she's not gonna be able to get this shit done with all these kids.
When did you text that?
6. It was like 6:20
In like a text message, or was that in Hangouts?
in Hangouts to you and Fraser.
yeah, it wasn't me.
Fraser replied and said, "Sounds good. You out. You were
no
out
idea.
till
No, I didn't know. I had no idea you weren't coming in today. That's the first I've heard of it.
check
Was
your
just like-
messages."
I did. I
You
read
just
all
thought it was a no-show?
Yeah. I was like, whatever. He works like he probably worked late last night.
Yeah. I've hit my 40 hours in the first 3 days. So
Peace. Yeah, I thought Wednesday and Thursday were a bonus.
no.
He shows up, he shows up.
I did give the heads up. So anyways, so I'm at home. And I cracked out the laptop this morning and I got it set up, and I sat down for like 5 minutes, and my wife's like, "Okay, I've got to make a phone call. I got to hire somebody. Can you make sure the kids aren't over here and making noise?" So I go
Put the muzzle on the children,
yeah,
please.
try to come back. And it's just like, it doesn't take me too long to figure out, like, I'm not going to get a damn thing done here, because she's got to be on the phone. She has to. She doesn't have, like, she's on time. I'm not. So I was like, I gave up. So I went and just like looked after the kids, and I was like, well, I should make some breakfast. What am I going to make? Chicken and waffles.
Yeah, chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles, boys. I was like, I don't know why that came to my head, but I was like, I should make something I haven't made before, something I like. I've tried, and it was like, I flashed back to Nashville when we went down there for Deck Expo, and the first thing we did when we got to Nashville is we stopped. Was it called Sunshine Records or the Sun Records? Sun Records Cafe, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And we had chicken and waffles. It was like 11:30 at night. Chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
At 11:30 at night.
I remember that place.
And we're like, oh, this is really good.
But it was a dive, that place.
Well,
right?
it was a popular spot because it was like, I don't know, it's a popular spot down there. I don't
Yeah,
think it was not dive
on
and not
purpose.
dive and yes, exactly.
It was diving
wasn't,
on purpose.
It was
It
diving
wasn't
on purpose.
dingy.
No,
Right.
it was.
But it was a little hole in the wall,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like lots of memorabilia on the walls,
Yeah.
and it was like a
remember
tourist
this.
attraction kind of place, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, we had chicken and waffles there, and it took me 3 or
was
4
really
years,
good.
but I did it again this morning. So
From
what
scratch?
an endeavor from scratch! Everything.
Waffles,
The
everything.
Like I grew the chickens, like. But no, so it's like, every have any idea how long it takes to make a chicken.
When they say the phrase, "A watch pot never boils," you should try to grow a chicken.
Exactly.
That's pretty slow.
I took out the eggs, sat on one for 15, 20 minutes, nothing happening, so I had to go to plan B. So from scratch, like I had the chicken breast, and then I made the batter, and then like the season. So here's the trick to really crispy, like well-coated chicken, like the restaurants do. Because normally, if I would do this, if I was going to make battered chicken, I'd dip them in like eggs and milk or something, and then straight into the flour and seasoning, and then fry them. And that leaves like a thin layer of seasoning. It's okay, right? The trick, the stuff you dip it in first, like the eggs and the milk, which is actually eggs water, also needs flour and seasonings in it. So it's like it's thick, like pancake batter almost. So you dip your chicken in that, it comes out with pancake batter on it basically. Then into the flour and seasonings again. So it's double coated.
There you go.
Then into the pot, deep fried. That's why I smell like I do.
I gotcha. Okay.
Then I made waffles from scratch.
Yeah.
And then I made a gravy, like a white gravy for the chicken and waffles. And then maple syrup, which I didn't.
I love how people call that gravy. I'm just gonna put that out there.
What
it's
is
not.
it?
It's
What
just
is it?
like flour.
I'll tell you what
butter,
it was.
and milk.
It was chicken broth. And,
It's
gravy. It was chicken broth and the leftover flour and seasonings from the stuff. Whatever. I just mix it up into a paste and then
the paste.
gravy sounds better than paste.
I had a paste.
Made chicken flour paste. So anyway, we had so of course my wife is like, she eats pretty healthy, and she's like, "You're deep frying stuff." I was like, "Yep." That's not like you don't make chicken and waffles and
Friday.
cook them in the air fryer.
If you're not interested, you could go stand outside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's minus 35. Well, seems like it's not such a bad idea now, right?
So, and then my 14-year-old, he wasn't up yet. I woke him up. I was like, "Upstairs. It's go time. I'm making brunch."
Daddy's
like,
gonna
okay.
cook today.
He comes upstairs. And looks. He's like, "What are you making?" "Chicken and waffles." "What? Why is there chicken? Why? What?" He's like confused as all hell.
Blew his mind.
Blew his mind that I would be making chicken and waffles for the same meal.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we have it all, and he bites down on one. At first, my wife tried a piece. She's like, "This is really good." I was like,
Yeah,
"I know,
babe,
right?
we
I
need to
killed
deep
it."
fry more things.
Everything's deep fried.
Yeah, exactly. And then the 14-year-old tried it, and he's like, "You know what I hate about this?"
Yep.
And I wanted to say like, how about you find something you like about it first, and then I can listen to your
Whoa.
goddamn complaints. It tastes really, really good.
Damn right.
It's like, I really like this, and I don't like that I like this. And he's like devouring the
Put
chicken and
syrup
waffles.
on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So waffle, a little bit of butter, some syrup, big old piece of deep fried battered chicken on top, and then gravy if you wanted it. I was the only one that was really eating the gravy. The other people did without.
Your chicken paste.
A chicken paste.
Chicken flour
Would you like some paste on your
chicken flour paste.
chicken? Do you want some paste?
Would you like some paste?
Have some moisty paste.
It's the moist maker.
So anyway,
Spectacular.
now that I've wasted enough of your guys' time, how about you waste some of ours, Bryce?
You want to do the time waster still?
I do. Yeah,
After
let's do
that?
after sure.
Okay, time waster today is. Does everybody knows how many like weird Saskatchewan names there are? Obviously, right? Like town names.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Right. Like, so I was originally going to do like, is this a Saskatchewan town name? I think that's too easy for you guys.
Might not be, but anyways.
It'd be funny for the guys that are listening though.
Yeah. So like, here's a few examples of Saskatchewan town names. We got like Mozart is a Saskatchewan town name.
Okay.
Urine.
Yes.
Urine?
Urine.
Where's urine?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
So when you're there,
Yeah.
you're in urine.
Yeah, urine. Yeah.
I almost for sure would stop and pee on the post of that sign.
I wonder how many times.
Urinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's yellow grass,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
cut knife,
Yep.
Siemens,
Yep.
Yep.
Uranium City,
Yep.
Primate,
Primate.
Didn't know about
Primate.
that one.
Love. There's Love, Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Smuts. I never heard of that one before.
Smuts.
boy.
Road trip.
We're going
Let's
to
go.
Smuts. Forget or Forget. I guess.
Forget. Yeah, that's pretty close to home for Wade and I.
Yeah. Climax.
Yep. Didn't know about that one.
Didn't?
Did.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Big Beaver.
I haven't. Well,
Carrot River.
Haven't found it.
I'm not sure how to get there, but I know it exists.
So those are some Saskatchewan town names. And so I thought we'd play a game called British Town
Oh,
or
boy.
British Insult.
Okay.
British town or British insult?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sure. That sounds
Ready?
fun.
We'll do 5 of them.
TC Deck says he's getting hungry after that story, by the way.
Okay, so the first one is Upton Snodsbury.
That's a town for sure.
Town or insult?
Well, I'm going to say it's an insult.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
It's a town in Worcestershire near North Piddle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to repeat and like tell a story, but I'm scared to say all the names again, so I'm not gonna.
Okay, here's the next one. Lickspittle.
Insult.
That's a town too.
That's an insult.
Ah. So are you gonna tell us what these mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you what the lickspittle means. Suck up.
Oh, yeah.
Call someone a lickspittle.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Do one more or a few more.
We should have Quigley Cable Rail in here. He might be a little bit familiar with these, being Irish.
Maybe.
Closer it is.
Mump Simus.
Mump Simus.
Town.
It's an insult.
Damn it.
A stubborn person who insists on making an error in spite of being shown that it is wrong.
Oh, we have lots. We have lots of those.
Synonym. Carter. my son's name. For those who are like not watching, I rubbed my face right there. I was like mind blown. What is that one again?
Mump Simus.
Mump Simus. All right, new nickname.
Mump Simus.
What's up, Mom?
What's up, Mump? Mump Simus. Okay.
Netherwallop.
Netherwallop.
Town.
That's an insult.
It's a town in Hampshire.
I started hot on the first one.
Okay, we'll do 2 more here. We got hobbledehoy.
Insult.
God, I hope that's an insult. I want to use it.
That's an insult.
Hobbity-hoy.
That's an insult. It's an awkward, gawky young man.
Yep. Also Carter.
Hobbledehoy.
Hobbledehoy?
Hobbledehoy.
Hobbledehoy. Okay.
Okay. And then we got Marsh Gibbon.
Town.
Insult only because you wouldn't end this thing on a town.
It's a town.
God!
4-1. I slayed. I was pretty slow start, but
you go.
That was only 5?
Oh, do you want to do
no,
one
because
more?
there was 2 that we didn't
I
get.
thought we got to like 7.
There was 2 that we both got wrong, but
I
I got
see.
4 right, and you got 1 right.
I see. 4-1 that way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then there was
Sure.
some wrong ones in there.
Okay.
Small feast.
Small feast.
Town or
That's a town.
Town.
it's an insult.
Damn.
What are that, like a small man? Like little guy?
One given to finding out and getting invited to feasts.
So, what? How's that an insult?
I have no
One
idea.
giving-
Yeah, see? That didn't make any sense. That's why I got it wrong. Okay.
You get invited to too many things, you loser.
Exactly.
What does that mean? Okay, fine.
20 minutes. Let's go.
That was fun.
Let's move.
Today's topic is, nope, not going to call it that way. Hey, what did I tell you the topic name was going to be? I told you it was going to be Survey Says.
I didn't know that was part of the
Did you
name.
not read it that way?
Well, I did read it, but I thought you were trying to be funny.
I was trying to be funny.
Trying to be funny.
I
Guys always trying to be funny.
I typed that to you. That's how I typed it in my head. Survey Says.
Exactly.
I really
What
like,
contractors want?
What
I really like that show.
Contractors want?
Family Feud.
Family Feud. It's a good one.
It's like, it's one of my
I don't
favorite.
know if you can call
like-
it one. There's been so many different hosts and versions of it.
Yeah, one of my favorite clips to watch on, like, when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and there's always Family Feud, like, ads or whatever running.
Yeah, Quigley is in here.
I
Lower Baltics, it says.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's a good show. There's a lot of good
Who's the guy that's
YouTubing that
running it
comes
right
out.
now? Who's the
Steve Harvey. Well,
Steve
no, I think
Harvey.
he's
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
this
And who is
Steve
it? The Canadian one's like Gary
Jerry D.
D.
Yeah.
Jerry D. Right. I want to say Gary Dice, and I was like, who's Gary Dice?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he's
Steve
good too.
Harvey's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, current is Steve Harvey. Yep.
Quigley also says a couple more Irish towns. Lousy Bush.
Lousy Bush.
That's an insult too.
Yeah.
You should shave that. It's kind of a lousy bush.
Super offensive.
Yeah. Okay, so the topic today, we ran a survey a little while ago with some contractors from Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Local.
Right, that one.
contractors.
That one.
One from Climax, one from Big Beaver.
We got eyebrow, we got elbow, we got all the body parts.
all the body parts surveyed. And the survey said, so we ran this for ourselves, but we thought we'd share some of the information that we're okay sharing with when it comes to...
Because some of it's top secret.
that
Some of it's top secret, but there was a couple that we thought were like, maybe this would be good information for some manufacturers. And we know that some manufacturers listen to this podcast. Mm-hmm. Because if we do things or say things that they don't like, we hear about it.
Right? You never get a compliment.
No.
You never get a...
Right?
You guys are
For
really...
the amount of promo we do for these guys sometimes. Nobody ever phones up and is like, last episode, great job, you guys. But you say one thing, we're like, God, they had a couple price increases back to back. Boom. You got the VP of operations.
He's coming down.
On the phone, you're like, where is this coming from? Why are you guys saying that? And it's like, oh, now you listen.
You talk about the distribution method and how the product gets from plant to customer, and it's like, you can't tell people that.
You mean you can't tell it goes by truck?
So
should go by pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they could move deck boards by pipeline?
That's how they start. That's how they start, right?
That is how they start.
The raw material.
That's right.
No. So anyways,
Would get shut down in Quebec.
and in the entire United States.
Had to take a shot.
No.
Yeah, the Keystone
And
pipeline.
Canada.
And Canada. And Bridge 5.
Whatever.
All of them. No more pipelines.
What about airlines?
Nope, can't fly those either.
We haven't tried flying oil too much yet. We should try that.
I wonder why.
Could you imagine?
With all the trouble we've had with the rails.
Yeah.
Let's put it up in the air, guys.
Burn a whole town down in Quebec. It's like, what happened? I burnt the whole town.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so we should get to it.
Survey
says. You got to say it like that.
Are you going to ask us questions?
No. But what we did is we asked some contractors, what features do you look for in decking products and railing products? What's important to you?
Like all decking products.
Correct. When you're choosing, so a composite deck board, I should say.
Okay.
Composite
Composite.
deck board. What's important to you? What features? What price points? Mm-hmm. And so we asked them these questions and we got all the feedback. Now we have, there's a few more to come in now, but this is a basis of 40 contractors. So not a bad sample size.
Good survey.
And so there's some people
Not quite
in the
Family Feud.
Not quite Family Feud.
Yeah.
Not quite. We're about 2.5 times short of Family Feud.
Yeah.
But
there's some guys in here that they could comment as we're going along on this.
Yeah, for sure.
sure, yeah, absolutely.
Instagram.
Let
Let's
us
get
know.
interactive here. Eric Terry, he's always got stuff to say. Quigley, he's opinionated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a little bush. Is that what it was? Lousy bush.
Lousy bush.
Lousy bush.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll go through the categories that we asked them to rank first, and then we'll go through what the respondents said. Okay, so under the decking category, and the question was something to the effect of, how important are the following features to you when choosing a composite decking product to work with?
Okay.
And we had them rank them between not important at all, somewhat important, or very important.
Okay.
And the topics we asked them about were...
Scale of what? Scale of like 1 to 5 or scale of like 1 or 3?
Scale of choose one of the three options.
Just those words.
Pick an option.
Got it.
That wasn't a sliding scale. It was a choose one of the...
Wade didn't take or write the survey.
I did take the survey.
Wade, so we did the survey.
I did take the survey.
We did this survey a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you're aware. So Eric's happy there's no more pipelines.
He's facetious. He actually wanted it, and I've talked to him about it.
So what we asked him was rate how important price is of the board, the available colors, the brand awareness, durability, and by that I should have specified it was like impact durability, like longevity, scratch resistance, which is why I clarified the previous one.
Yep.
Traction, warranty, the reward or loyalty program, stock availability, relationship with the manufacturer rep, and thermal stability. How much it expands and contracts.
Thermal.
Yeah. I think he said thurble,
I think he said thermal too.
but that's okay. We know what he's
How important is gerbil stability?
he's been crushing deep fried chicken all
Yeah,
morning.
right.
His mouth is tired.
Oh, boy.
His brain's turning to mush.
Yeah.
Boys.
I got some chicken left over. I know what I'm having for supper tonight too. Or dinner because I planned it.
Is just gravy in that cup.
Yeah. I threw the gravy out.
chicken flour paste in here.
paste.
Some moisty paste. Okay. So off the top of your head, Wade, what would you think? Like if those, there was a lot of them, but is there something that stood out that you thought, and for you too, Bryce, that you thought like that's going to be super important to a contractor or not? What's your top 1 or 2?
You
on
go
each?
first. I have a slight advantage.
I don't even know if I remember all.
Yeah, here we go. Now that you know what the question is, you can pay attention.
Yeah.
Price, colors, brand awareness, durability, scratch resistance, traction, warranty, reward program, stock availability, rep relationship, or thermal stability.
So I would say stock availability and warranty and color availability.
Those are your top three.
Those are my top
most
three.
important. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think those are gonna
And the Johnson's got a chance to steal. No. Okay.
All three?
What did you say? Bryce said stock color,
availability.
and warranty.
yeah, those are my most important.
Okay. You hit some that were pretty important. Yep.
Did I?
Not the top three. But you like one of them. Okay. And Wade, do you stop looking at my sheet?
Wade's cheating.
I would have said stock. Yeah, stock availability, traction, and warranty. And then price next.
Traction.
Yep. I think they would like.
Okay. And of that list, is there one that you think that guys are not going to care about? Widespread, kind of like that doesn't really matter.
Brand recognition.
Was that one?
Yeah.
Yep. Brand awareness. Yep.
Loyalty program.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. They don't care about loyalty program. I want to change my answer.
Are you changing your answer?
No.
Or rep relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, any of those. It's
So
like all of them are sort of.
I'll
brand.
tell you right now because to be honest, a lot of them were quite close. Like a lot of these are important to some
Some guys.
degree,
Yep.
right? There was one that really, really wasn't that stood out from the rest, and you guessed it. The reward loyalty program
No one cares.
was not that important.
Which is crazy because after we went through that, I was like, people should get on that.
There's
right?
some big cash to be made in those
Yeah.
things. And so
so, and it wasn't nobody. If we
completely devalues the podcast that I did. It's like, you go ahead and build a podcast. I'm going to build one that's like reward programs. That's good. Okay. And then 2
episodes
weeks later, Shane's like,
yours didn't matter.
nobody gives two shits about what you're talking about.
really tapped into the market.
Right.
So that episode was a lot of talk, and nobody gave two shits.
Episode 115. Swipe. Archive that thing.
It just goes from
Not
113 to 115. It's like just a blank spot.
Right.
So anyway, 37.5% of people that responded did say that reward or loyalty program was at least somewhat important or very important. Yep. However, the rest of them thought it was not important at all. So 25 out of 40 respondents didn't care about the program.
And so what do you think's behind that? Do you think that's because they don't know it? They don't
Yes.
understand it?
I think that's probably part of it. Yeah.
They're all poorly
Therefore,
marketed.
making my podcast likely the most important one we'll do this year.
Holy, this guy's a spin doctor. Hey,
Whoa.
I like how you just did that.
When did you release a survey, before or after Wade's podcast?
It was after. Yeah. The survey
So
was
they still don't care.
after.
Yeah. We should run it again in a little bit maybe and see if you've made an impact or not. So I thought that was interesting because you hear a lot about these things. The
Yeah.
brands promote these programs quite a bit. They dump a freaking ton of money into them.
Okay.
You hear about them a lot because on Instagram, that's where the guys who are in the programs are. I think the guys that are more involved in the community and more involved with the manufacturers are also probably more involved on Instagram and whatnot. So right now, this is actually a good timing because right now they had their Trex Pro Awards, whatever you want to call it, their whatever.
Summit. Yep.
Their summit was supposed to be right now. And part of that is a competition for best deck in a bunch of different categories.
Yep.
And so this just happened recently. And so a lot of guys are posting about it. And so you don't get into these summits and these things without being in their loyalty programs. That's that's one of the perks of the Trex one that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Which I said mention that again because nobody listened to that episode.
So it's worth talking about.
so that's how you get there. So surprising to find out that like for as much money that the manufacturers dump into these programs,
Yeah.
at least in the small sample size that we took, people don't really care.
They don't care,
It's
which
pretty
is-
far down the list of things that they care about.
Yeah, and I do believe that would have more to do with the fact that they don't properly understand the rewards program. Not that they aren't interested in getting rewards. Everybody has a credit card that gets rewards. You don't get credit cards that don't have rewards attached to them. You know what I mean? They just, but you're able to understand what that does. Oh, this thing gives me 2% back on my purchases. It ends up going against my balance on December, like at the end of the year.
Right.
It's like, I understand that. I know what happens. And so now I use that card and I use it for everything because I get money back.
Because I'm broke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I don't have money.
have money.
I don't have any
money.
money. I got to put it on here because
Spend
this thing will
money.
give me money. So I think that when people understand how it works, maybe they use it more, right? And so to the point, like the guys that are using the program do really well at it. They probably have had somebody explain to them why they should use it, right?
They think about
the
it,
value
do
of
it
it
on
is.
purpose.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so now
Proved all those people wrong.
right. Now I combined
Dummies.
the percentages I combined between people that said it was somewhat important or very important, because if it's somewhat important, then it's obviously something they're paying attention to a little bit. But if we look at just the very important, only the very important answers, what do you
Yes.
think the top one was going to be?
Top one.
The top one.
Yeah,
Because there is a bit of a margin here.
obviously, and not the ones we picked because he would have already
Yeah,
told us
right?
that,
You
right?
would've just given-
No, not
given us
necessarily.
That one.
I'm just curious. Like, you guys each gave 3 answers, though. What do you think the top one is? And when we're looking at just very important, not somewhat important, just the very
Yeah,
important answers.
I would have guessed availability.
Yeah, I would have guessed availability too.
Availability, not quite. It's durability
Really?
by quite a bit.
Durability.
So 33 people out of 40
Like
said that durability is very important.
how long the deck lasts.
No, I think
I would
No,
like,
that's
so maybe we could have been more
longevity.
clear with that.
so. I believe durability would be like how if scratches,
Impact, stuff like that.
carry it around. Yeah,
I guess
Like, is it
it's
going to
from a
hold up
contractor
over time? Is it going to
perspective,
hold
yeah.
up or because you can't fix this stuff really that well, right? Like with wood, you can sand it and refinish it. Composites, you can't. So you want it to be durable and have a life to it. So now we did also have scratch resistance in there as well. And oddly enough, it ranked quite a bit lower as far as what's very important. So I think when they answered durability, it was more about like cracking, chipping, like structural durability of the board
Right.
as opposed to aesthetic durability. So there you go. And then the second highest, there's a tie, or sorry, no, there wasn't. The second highest was for very important was the warranty. So you guys both picked that one, said that was very important. And the third was a tie between traction and stock availability.
There you go.
There you go. So now that we've outlined the outliers,
Yep.
I'll read these off in order. We'll go through the list again. So again, combined numbers is a closer race. Do you want to do combined, somewhat, and very important, or just very important by itself?
I think very important by itself is different.
Very important by itself? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go through what's very important to these people. Number 1, durability that we just talked about. Number 2, warranty. Number 3, number 4.
I'm really surprised that warranty makes it that far up the list for those guys. And maybe that's because
Yeah.
we know that most of them are the same. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like most warranties are 25 years and up.
But it's probably like that other stuff, like that's
So-
attached to it, right? Like if the labor is included in the warranty, or
Right. So I wonder if they assumed labor warranty was in on that when they were filling it out. Because if labor warranty was included in that for them in their head when they were answering
Yeah,
the
this is a
question, then
generic
that
question about
becomes-
warranty. So some guys, it might be just strength of warranty as opposed to length of warranty, like how much is covered. Because we've gone through some warranty episodes in the past, which we also need to update our warranty episodes because things have changed. But we did, I think, expose a little bit of the warranties when we did that episode because it showed that length isn't everything. And I've been living that my whole life.
Are we still talking about decking?
Firmly believe that the length
yeah.
of your deck is not
the length of your deck is not everything.
is not the most important thing.
The width is.
Sometimes you gotta grow into it. You know what I'm saying?
It happens over time.
So I've been firmly telling myself that for 39 and a half years. But
You're a lot further than half. And
yeah. So, yeah, well, I wasn't conscious as a human being for the first 6 months. I didn't know what was going on. What were we talking about?
the length of it.
The length of the
So
warranty.
we exposed a little bit about these warranties then, because what gets promoted,
right? You can't expose yourself in public.
what gets promoted and marketed most often is the years of warranty that you have.
That's
This is a
correct.
25-year board. This is a 30-year, 40-year, 50-year board.
Yep,
What's covered is fine print shit.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
That's the most important shit.
Really buried in fine print. So what they want you to believe is that the longer the warranty, the better.
Which is crazy.
What we discovered when we did our deep dive into warranties was that like probably the best warranty was the shortest warranty.
Yeah, because it covered everything the whole time, essentially.
And not all 50-year warranties were equal too, because we had some right. So we exposed that what we thought at the time, and some of the guys have changed their warranties because that's the kind of influence we have.
Not a big deal.
We're policy influencers.
Because the guy at the football game was like, "You're insane." He writes the warranties for 25-year warranty from Decorators that we thought at the time was probably one of the strongest ones because it was pretty inclusive. It included everything. It was the labor. It didn't matter who installed it. It was just like if you had a warranty claim in the first 25 years, it was the most complete warranty in the industry. And what we also discovered is that sometimes a 50-year warranty and a 50-year warranty is very different because what's covered under the warranty is very different, or the scale in which they decide that something is faded is much different from one manufacturer to the other.
Right.
So we both have 50-year fade and stain warranties. Oh, that's great. But company A says, but we'll replace your boards as soon as you can tell that they've faded with your eyes. And the company B is like, we'll let it go a little bit more past that, and then if it's turned white, then we'll warranty. We'll
get out the night vision goggles.
Not that much, but the goalpost was different, right? As to when you could make the warranty claim.
That's right.
So there's
and the percentage of what was covered and kicked back, that all changed as well. So
and as a homeowner, for me or a contractor, I would rather have a 25-year bulletproof warranty than a 50-year one that's going to has a lot of hoops to jump
strainer.
Well, it's how easy is the warranty to actually get?
Impossible.
Right.
Impossible.
And then some of them are transferable and some are not. So there's a lot of things to consider, right? It's not as easy as saying this one's 40 years, so it's better than the 30-year one. Not necessarily.
Nope.
Maybe within the same line. Like if we're talking about
one brand
with Fibron, for example, and the Good Life line, they've got Good Life Weekender and Good Life Escapes, and the Weekender's got 25 years and Escapes got 30.
Yep.
Well, the 30 years better because it's the same warranty, just longer.
Yep.
So anyway, that one was very important to people. Only 3 people out of the entire survey said that that's not something that they really consider.
That's incredible. I wouldn't have guessed that.
27 people said that's very important. 10 said it was fairly important. Somewhat important.
16 people.
Hi-oh. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, people on Instagram.
Moment of uselessness.
Are we on TikTok and YouTube today?
No, we're gonna keep it on one.
Son of a gun!
I'm sorry.
Not enough streaming capability.
Yeah, we're a little limited by our bandwidth.
Got on TikTok and it was all like
not enough internet.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That you shouldn't have been playing that "Oh no" song. Things go bad because it broke our internet last week.
Destroyed us.
Okay, so traction and stock was the number 3-4. What was after that? Colors. Color is important, like the amount or the selection of colors available. Thermal stability.
Okay.
And then then we get into the teens where it starts to become less things that are lesser voted on things. And scratch resistance was 19 out of 40 people said that was very important. Rep relationship was 16 people answered that, and price was 15.
I'm so shocked by that. I'm also surprised that price was not higher. Because this was to contractors.
But for a contractor, does it really matter?
Sure it does, because they can make margin on that. They can make profit on that. And so you would think that they would be looking for a board that was at a really good price point so they could be competitive. And if the board was good and held up well and they were able to get it for a little bit less, they could maybe make more money. But there's always that option that your customer can then shop you. And so it doesn't matter what the price is because you can't mark it up a whole bunch because they would just go find that information and then say, you're gouging me, you know?
And a lot of guys don't give that insight into it anyway and show a markup of materials or even price their jobs that way. Some of them might not even some of them might not be like, oh, I'm going to mark my materials up 15%. They obviously account for their profitability and their operating costs, whatever, out of what they are charging, but maybe that's not how they're doing it, and therefore the board doesn't matter. If they're installing a $6 board or a $2 board, they're making the same amount of money.
Yep.
But if they're marking the boards up, then there's obviously a difference.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe some guys aren't doing it that way. So I personally never did it that way.
And I did
when I was quoting. So to me, it wouldn't have mattered if it doesn't take me any more effort to install the enhanced board than it does a transcend board. It's a little heavier, I guess, but
yeah. And I
charge the same. So
mine was always on top. I always had a material and then margin on top of material and then labor.
Yeah.
The margin on top of material was because if I cut a transcend board wrong, it's expensive. And so that was what that margin was for.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on how you price it, but price wasn't as super strong. Now that said, 20 people said it was somewhat important. So it's not that they're saying it's not important.
Yeah.
If we combine those two numbers, it's 35 out of 40 say it's somewhat important or more. So 87.5% say it's like, it is important.
Yep.
And only 5 people said it wasn't very important at all. So get a hold of those 5 guys.
Billy Big Wheels.
Sell them the expensive shit.
Exactly.
Call them. Yep.
And what do we got after that? Then we trickle down into pretty low digits. So brand awareness and reward and loyalty programs both only garnered 4 votes for very important.
Brand awareness seems strange to me because like most people nowadays aren't like, I want a composite board or like I want a composite deck. They're like, I want a Trex deck.
But so I believe that that's homeowners that are doing that.
Right. But so as a contractor though, wouldn't you don't care?
I don't think so. So I believe that the loyalty program would be the only thing that would drive a contractor to decide what board they put in.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And if they don't care about the loyalty program, then what do they care about board they put down?
I do think that the brand play is probably stronger on the end user. Again, that's one of the ones, if we look at where the dollars get spent in these things, like brand is everything as far as the manufacturer is concerned.
Yep.
But maybe it shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like it is for Trex because they're the ones that own
They are the brand.
They are the brand of composite decking, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go around and ask people like their recall on the Trex brand, it's going to be pretty high.
Right.
But it's not going to be that high for decorators.
No.
And so is there any point in UFP playing that game and trying to outmarket the branding of Trex? Probably not.
No.
And I'm not saying that they are, because I think they've done a lot of things very differently. And I think that's where they're having success.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've paid attention to these other things.
They were on the 100th episode of the podcast.
Traction, colors, being more personable, like the rep relationships, which even though it didn't score high, like they've built, they're building their business on the backs of like close relationships, kind of ground level type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it can all work. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the contractors, brand is not a huge thing. Now that said, 25 out of the 40 said it was somewhat important. They don't want to sell garbage either. It's just not the number one thing they're worried about.
Right.
Only 11 people said it wasn't important. So interesting stuff, hey?
Yeah.
Rep relationship I thought was interesting too.
RCR asked a question, and I believe that that's probably guided towards me from back in the day when I worked.
RCR Reynolds says, do you show your margins on your quote?
And so when I did my quotes back in the day for finishing, I did not show my margin on my quote. What I showed was material cost was this much, and what I will provide for material is this. And I gave a full list of what was to be expected for material. And then labor, this much, and then here's what I intend to do for labor. So it was like the tasks were broken down. Like what the product was broken down, and the task was broken down, but the number was just one number. So.
Any other ones you want to talk about on here? Some outlier. Thermal stability rated very high, and so I thought that was higher than I would have expected, because everybody's aware that this stuff expands, and I thought that everybody had just made peace with it. And so the fact that it's still top of mind, being like, no, that's still important, is...
Yeah, I thought that was interesting as well. I thought it was, because like you took the words out of my mouth. Everybody has just given up on it. So I thought it was weird that they still paid attention to it.
Because what actually happened is that they all gave up on the materials and started to think about how can we install this differently to like hide the fact that it moves too much.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like no longer was it like, would somebody release a board that doesn't do this? It was just like, they all do it. So stop monitoring things then. That's the way the industry was going.
Yeah.
And now with the decorators, the Ovations or mineral-based composite stuff that has a lot of stability in it, maybe that's important to people. Apparently it is. 21 out of 40 said that was very important, and another 15 said it was somewhat important. Yeah. So for a total of 90% of people think that the board staying still
It's a big deal.
in weather changes is a big deal.
It's a big deal, especially in Saskatchewan. We're going to talk about thermal stability in Saskatchewan.
Canada in general, right? Like the entire Canadian market.
How about stock availability? Very high too, right? Tied for 3/4 with 23 people saying it's very important and 14 saying somewhat.
But I'm not surprised by that.
No, I think that like
as a contractor, I wanted to make sure that shit was on the ground when I went.
And that's one of the things that's going to affect them personally the most of this list, right?
That's
the traction on the board, not really affecting the contractor that much. The colors, who cares? It's the customer's house, where they care. The only one on this list, or one of a few on this list, that's really going to affect the contractor is the stock.
Yeah.
Stock.
And if it ain't in, and this year...
And warranty.
Sure.
Right? I thought that those two would have been really important to contractors, because if something goes wrong, they're on the hook to replace that. Customer calls them again. So anyways.
And I think this is probably also maybe a little bit of indicative of the times right now. 2020, we're coming off a year where stock availability was probably more of a struggle than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Contractors were more affected by it than they've ever been.
Yeah.
You run
lumber.
You run this same survey and that question in 2019, and stock's never really been an issue before. It's unlikely that they rated as high. It's
Maybe.
like not really an issue because it's not really been an issue.
Right.
But this year it's like you got some guys that are still trying to wrap projects up from 2020 because stock was an issue. And it's like, well, now I understand that that's really important to me.
Yeah.
That the shit's there and ready.
Yeah.
So probably maybe a little inflated because of the times, but good to know. Traction I thought was another good one because a lot of composites are a little bit slippery. Some are better than others. PVC boards tend to be better. Decorator's Voyage line tends to be is really well. But a lot of just like traditional wood plastic composites, most of them are a little bit slick.
Yep.
So that was a good one to identify as well. So interesting stuff. Any other ones you want to discuss in here before we move on to the railing category?
Illuminated Balustrade said that branding is very important in Australia because there are a lot of brands creeping into the market that are cheap and crap. Unfortunately, a lot of contractors are price driven.
Yeah. And so Australia, more than Canada or the US even, is being infiltrated with low quality, low cost Chinese goods.
Yeah.
The
That's
boat
a
doesn't have to go
proximity
as
thing.
far, right? It's just, it's right down the coastal highway.
Yep. The coastal highway.
I guess the coast ends, but the ocean highway. So they're struggling because there's a lot of bad product being imported in there now and being sold, and they're running into it. And it is what it is. It's happening here too. Just probably maybe not to quite the extent, but it's happening here too.
Can't get here. It's too far.
It's too far. It does make its way here, but it's like certainly at a lesser rate. That's for sure.
Yep. Everything from China gets here eventually, Bryce. You should know this.
It does. It does.
So yeah, that's what was important to contractors on the decking side. Now we also ran the similar thing, but with different categories because some of these things don't, traction or railing probably isn't.
I gotta know if I can run on it.
I need to know if I'm going to grab it with my hand. Am I going to slide over the deck? So the categories, some are the same, some are different. With railing, we asked them what's important to the following: price, colors, brand awareness, warranty, reward, loyalty program, stock availability, rep relationship, and we added
Stopping power.
speed of install or ease of install.
Stopping power.
Right? How strong is it if I'm running into it at full speed?
Yeah.
We should do that. Put on our hockey gear, get a deck that's 2 feet in the air, and then just like
Give her. Mm-hmm. Went at it a little bit too hard there, bud. Okay, so for rail, what do you guys think? So price, colors, brand, warranty, reward program, stock availability, rep relationship, and speed of install.
I think
What do
speed
you
of install
think?
should be the top for contractors. That's my number one.
Okay, number one,
Number one
both
draft
you.
pick.
I agree with that. Speed of install.
And what do we think is the least on the very important rating? Price, colors, brand, warranty, reward program, stock availability, rep relationship, and speed of install.
I say reward program.
I say brand. I don't think anybody gives a crap about their brand awareness for railings.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are getting pretty good at this little game here,
And Wade's even looking at the sheet.
right? Which is probably how he got both of those right.
I throw some answers. Oh, really? I was trying to throw some answers. I don't make it.
So actually, not quite. You weren't quite correct. You were very, very close, both of you. So you guys said speed of install was the number one important thing, and it was like it's up there. But stock availability was number one again. Again, probably a sign of the times. But only by one vote. 24 votes for stock availability out of 40 versus 23.
Was that the one you just put in? The vote you just put on there?
Shane, that's my vote.
Their destiny's too easy. I'll move them around a little bit. And the least very important was Bryce. You said brand awareness.
Yeah.
That's the second least important. Wade said the reward and loyalty program. Wade
That was the
correct.
least. Yeah. Can't answer
When
the
it comes
same
to
thing.
railing, nobody gives two shoots about brand or what sort of kickback program you got going on.
I didn't even
Just
know
get
they-
me the railing.
Do they do kickback programs?
Some of them do, don't they?
Some do. So Fortress, we had that discussion last, was it a couple
Fortress
weeks
does,
ago?
yeah.
That Fortress was doing a thing for a while. I don't know if they still are, but they were paying you $5 a panel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Trex, I think some of their railing sales go into their existing Trex Pro program. If you're buying railing, you're earning points on that stuff too.
Sure.
So they do.
I guess, yeah, your other guys would. Yeah.
The aluminum guys, I don't know. Regal, I don't think really does. They don't do a perk program, that's for sure. I mean, they're definitely out there training people up and giving you
Tools to sell their product.
diplomas of sorts.
Railing
Pieces of
diplomas?
paper that say like, hey, you're a deck star. But it's not like a loyalty reward program.
No,
Right.
there's no kickback. There's no money. There's
More
no,
for them than for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, that's exactly what I said. It was like they're training you how to sell their product.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
So
And that's okay. Like, it's better to be trained to sell a product than not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. From the
Well, the other guys
Instagram,
aren't doing
the answers from the Instagram are RC Renault says speed of install for sure,
Yeah.
and illuminated balustrade says quality and speed of install. If it's quality, customers will wait. If it's fast to install, contractors will use it. So yeah, there's some
Cooker.
good ones there. So we've become very big fans of pushing the speed of install. Like, how easy is it to install? Because like that matters. That is dollars.
matters.
That's money.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's because there's some that are terrible to install. That's why this is a thing. If they're all like, it goes together pretty good, or it goes together really fast, people wouldn't care as much. But you run into some that are, sometimes are like, that's a pain in the ass to install. And so therefore you value it being easier more.
Correct.
So to go through these a little bit, number one was stock, I said, with 24 to 40. If we combine the somewhat important as well, that's 90% of people, the thing that's somewhat important or better.
Yes.
If we get to number two on the very important, that was speed of install, plus another 12 on the somewhat important. So 87.5% think that that's somewhat important or better. And the third highest on the very important scale was the price. So 19 plus a 16 from somewhat means 85.5% of people think that that's...
So is speed of install like really important when it comes to like stairs? Is that where it like seems to shine?
Yes, it can be, because sometimes a system has a really good speed of install until you get to the stairs.
Right.
Like, it's a straight run stuff, it's all fine. You can fly through it, and then you get to the stairs and it slows you right down. So if you get somebody who's kind of nailed it on both ends, then that's more of a complete picture. There's no if you lose all your time somewhere on the system,
Yeah, right,
it's like really
exactly.
fast and you lose it all, then what does it matter?
Right.
Because what we used to say about Fortress AL13 rail, which is welded aluminum panels and posts, they used to say all the time, like, this is super fast to install. Mount your brackets on the post, you drop your panels, and away you go. Okay, sounds good. Yes, agreed. Dropping the panels into the post, very fast. That is way better and way faster than component systems where you're snacking on pickets.
On pickets.
Where you're snapping pickets in. But mounting those brackets chewed up all your time that you saved.
And there was a couple things they did wrong with those brackets too. They sent you machined screws rather than self-drilling screws.
Right.
So not only did you you couldn't even just fasten the bracket on, you had to drill a pilot hole, and then you had to get another screw, and it was like,
Yeah, because you couldn't be off a little bit. The brackets were so precise that, like, you had to drill a hole for the machine screw, which is not adjustable, like in wood. The screw's going to go exactly where you drilled it. And I don't remember what the hole was, 3/16 of a hole or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a small hole. So to get that drill bit to not walk, you had to, like Wade said, probably drill a pilot hole with a smaller bit. So you gotta template this thing out. You gotta spring punch,
hole, 360. Yeah, spring punch,
the spot.
8th inch hole, 3/16 hole,
Like, might as well get a step bit at that
machine
point
screw, like
And you got to do this like 4 times on each.
on each post.
on every post.
Each
so
side.
so that, like,
If you did a corner post or a line post, you did it 8 times.
You're done.
It was like, this is
Waste
pure-
of time.
This is total
not
bullshit.
ideal. Beautiful system when you're done, but we stocked it and we installed it ourselves, and we're like, boy, this takes a lot of time. And then our contractors would be coming back and be like, I don't like using that system at all. And we're like, really? Because, like, it's really popular everywhere else. They love it. But they're like, well, like it takes me a full day to mount freaking brackets on the post before I'm even ready to install the rail. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't go on perfectly, then the panel doesn't fit in, the cover won't snap on. It's like, it's just, so we had a lot of pushback from contractors, and we fed that information back to Fortress. And I'm not saying that we influenced this, but there was probably
Not a big deal.
But again, same guy does the warranties, does the Fortress program.
Sure.
But they had to have had this feedback from a lot of people, because when they released AL13 Home, brackets are mounted on it, on the posts. Now, that is fast as shit, right?
Fastest.
You've eliminated that pain point of mounting the brackets, and it's fast.
Yeah.
You mount the post, you drop your panels, and you're done. And they came up with a simplified stair system, which the stair being the trickiest part when you're trying to figure out your angles and where do I cut it here and how do I make up for the angle difference, whatever. These panels, you cut them straight. All you have to do is mount your brackets with the template that's provided with a self-tapping screw, by the way.
It was Wade.
And then you
Personally.
template and mount your brackets, and all you have to do is measure the top rail between the two brackets and lay your panel squared, because it racks. The panel's hinged,
Oh, there
right?
you
It's
go.
all hinged in one piece. So you lay it square and you just measure the distance to the top and the bottom. There are brackets they've designed to make up those differences because of the pitch. So all you have to do is cut the panel straight as if you were cutting a straight panel, a regular panel, and drop it in. So now the stairs are
Pretty
just
quick.
about as easy as the straight runs.
Pretty
There you
quick.
go.
So if you want to talk about speed of install, that Fortress system, and I haven't used, like there's other brands in the States that we haven't used. Maybe somebody else does something similar. But as
Yeah.
far as what we have available to us with, Vista Rail, Century Rail, Regal Ideas Rail, Fortress Rail, these Canadian brands, Star Rail, whoever it is, this is significantly faster than any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big step up. So for the guys, like the 23 guys that value that very importantly, that's a system that they should look at if that's
Right.
that important. Because they're also saying that brand isn't that important, right?
Yeah.
3 out of 40 said brand. So if you've never heard of Fortress before, it's okay. It has a very long warranty. So if that's important. So anyways, it's a great option.
It's got a long warranty.
It's got a long warranty. It covers nothing.
It's covered.
20-year warranty.
Cover anything.
Covers the one screw.
So long.
But no, I think, like, don't quote me on this, but I believe that they have 20-year on the finish, and I want to say a limited lifetime on the components.
Wade's just shaking his head.
I don't. Yeah,
Whereas
I don't
with the other guys, it's 20 years on the structural integrity and 5 years on the finish is typical. These guys are 20 on the finish and lifetime on the structural. So really good system. Now, what else do we got to go here? What did I give you? I gave you stock number 1.
Yep.
I gave you speed of install number 2.
Yep.
Price number 3.
Yep.
And then after that was
Color.
warranty.
Okay. Warranty.
16 votes for warranty.
Then color.
Then colors availability is 15. Rep relationship, 14.
I find that surprising too. That's pretty. I'm pretty surprised that made it up as even like as a 14.
And there's a big drop off. The next two are the reward program and the brand awareness. Brand awareness 3, reward program 2.
It's because most of the rails look the same. Like you're not really like making any waves in railing generally.
Correct.
So if we want to look at this from the other angle and say what was not important at all to people, by far, number 1 is the reward and loyalty program. Don't care. 25 out of 40, not even a thought. Brand, 16 out of 40. And rep relationship was 11.
Yeah.
Most of that was not surprising.
So there you go.
Wade and I nailed it.
I'm not surprised. Unlike my podcast that I did.
Wade's gonna have a spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to use this information. Like, some contractors will listen, they'll nod along and be like, "Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Speed of install is very
It's
important."
their answers.
So what do you
He's like, "Yeah, I was in that. I was I'm number 4 of the 25."
do? You think that there's some stuff that the railing manufacturers could do? Do you think that they should do
Yeah,
a
we've been-
reward program? Should they take something that everybody is not interested in and then try to flip it, or should they?
Well, if you look at this and look at reward program, who cares about reward program? Well, if we combine the somewhat and very importance, it's 37% of people think that's somewhat important, but price is 86.
Okay.
So a loyalty program means you have to increase you got to pay for the programs you're putting in place. So if that means that your materials, your units cost 5% more because you now have a loyalty program with kickbacks and trips and whatever else,
Yeah.
then what have you done?
You've rewarded your contractors.
The 37% that care, and then you've pissed off the 86 that care about the price.
or all your DIY as well, right? So your customers are like all customers pay for price, DIY and contractors. And then only the top ones get the, so anyways.
So that's interesting.
So price and ease of install are things every railing manufacturer should be thinking about.
And making sure you have stock.
And
I can vouch for that too, because you know what Regal does do very well is they make sure you have your product. You know, like you order your stuff and you get it a week later and it's like it all comes.
Yep.
Whereas some other brands we carry, you order product and you don't see it right away. Right? So Regal seems to have the logistics figured out. So that's a good thing. You're rarely without stock. And they've also got the distribution.
Yep.
So if I don't have it and a guy really needs a part, he can go grab it from Lowe's or Rona or whatever.
Yep.
Right? Like it's everywhere. It's easy to get. So
they do a very good job of availability. No doubt.
And they play well into the colors, right? They've got more colors available as a standard stock items than most railing manufacturers do.
Correct.
I don't know that they kill it on any of these other things, like the warranty's solid.
I know personally, like
The rep relationships are stronger than other brands.
Yes.
That's for sure, of the brands we carry.
Yep.
So they do some things well for sure.
I don't think I care too much about the color of railing. And the reason I say that is the majority of railing that goes in is black or white.
That's 90%, right? 85%.
Like you don't see a ton of people do a taupe or gray. It's like,
And then when they come in and be like, I want to do taupe, you just stand there and you blink at them 3 times and you're like,
yeah, but what color is your soffit?
why?
right.
Well, my soffit's taupe. Fuck, somebody read.
Damn it. Oh, the one guy.
If the soffit guys would stop making taupe soffit, we could stop making taupe rail.
What about the hinges on the inside of your door? Is that what? I'm just like maybe they're black. Is there any black on your house anywhere?
What color's your car? It's not taupe, right? No, it's not taupe. See, if you were given a choice, you wouldn't choose taupe.
How can I talk you out of taupe?
Your car is parked right in your driveway, which is beside your deck. Like, I think you should match to your car. What's your car? Purple.
If the color availability was there, would they? Do you think more people would choose?
No, because it is there.
It is there.
it is
Regal.
there.
We stock and display all the Regal colors,
Yeah.
but it's still the sales are 85%
So yeah.
black and white, and that's the same in Century, and it's the same with Fortress. And Fortress only has black and white; they don't do another color. But with Century, they've got the third brown color, but its sales lag way behind the other black and whites. Like it's just black and white is just safe and neutral. Right?
Yeah.
It works for every color of deck. That's the trickiest thing is that like black is black.
Well, yeah, right.
Brown is not brown.
Right. Red's
And
not
that's
red.
the end of the episode. Sit on that for a week. For a week. Well, you know what I mean? Like the browns from Regal to Century are very different browns.
Yes.
Yard bronze from Regal is more of a chocolatey, kind of deeper brown, and Lakeside Copper from Century is, as the name would suggest, it's a little bit more coppery, almost like a greenish undertone to it. They're both brown, but they're not the
And
same
then
browns.
they also play off of the browns that are on the decking. And then-
Correct.
so the decking is different
everything
browns.
looks
Like,
weird.
yeah.
That's what I was going to go with. That it's like it's got to match. Like the black, if you do black rail, it'll work with no matter what decking you chose, it'll work.
Yep.
If you do white, no matter what decking you chose, it'll work. But if you choose one of the browns, sometimes you choose a brown decking, doesn't work.
That's right.
So sometimes it makes the coppery one look too greeny.
We have lots of people that come in and they try and buy a gray deck, or they do purchase a gray deck boards, and then they want to do the titanium slate from Regal. And I don't try to talk people out of things. I usually just give some insight, and I start with, that's a terrible idea.
You're
what you
stupid.
should do,
You're stupid.
you big
Guess what?
dummy. Right? But anyways, if you do gray, there's just like, you don't want gray rail, because then it ends up being like the whole thing's all the same. It's like blah.
You need some
Ferrari,
contrast, right?
Ferrari red.
Yeah. Right? So anyways.
But we've had like so that's a good point. Like when did that come out? Titanium slate came out probably
years ago.
5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and we were at the WLA show when they were first showing. It's like, there's a new color we got coming out. It's called titanium slate, and we're like, oh boy, that is gonna crush.
Yeah.
Like grays are so hot. Grays are the thing, and we thought for sure that color was gonna dominate. And then
we still own that stock from the first year.
then it comes in.
Guess what?
And it didn't dominate. And we had to think about why. It was like, why isn't this dominating? And it's because people care first about the color of the decking. And then the railing is an accessory to that. The railing needs to work with the decking, not the other way around. So they've chosen gray decking already. And now they hold it up with the gray rail and it's like, it's too much gray.
And
Needs to be
it's
some
the wrong,
contrast.
like it just doesn't, it's not the right gray.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't, so.
Grays are also not grays. Even more than browns aren't browns. Grays
There's
are
like
not grays.
50 shades of them.
At least 50, yeah.
At least.
Times 2 or 3 sequels.
Yep, exactly.
But grays tend to be either bluish or brown, and that titanium slate is a fairly neutral gray, and so sometimes it just doesn't look right. Sometimes the browns look better with the gray deckboards, to be honest. So anyways, it's a very good color. I love the color, but it just doesn't work
Doesn't
as
go with
often you
anything.
think it would,
Yeah.
right? What else I want to say there? Oh, Century last year came out with the gray color.
Yeah, slate gray.
They came out with that slate gray color, and they, the distributor brought it to us, and we're like, "What do you guys think? You want to stock this?" And we're like, "Oh boy, yeah, that's great." And then we did that. We knew better now, and we actually took the railing and set a bunch like our best-selling gray deck boards up against it. We're like, "Nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that doesn't work." It didn't work with any of them.
But it was tricky because, again, we did the same thing that all homeowners do. Our rep brought it in, set it down, and both of us were like, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
And then he left and we thought about it more, and it was just like, well, wait a second. Like, let's pull our sales from our Regal grays. We have some history. We can see what people are doing. So we pulled that, and it was like, those were low. And then we started to talk about it more, and it was like, yeah, you know what? No, let's not put that gray in here. We're not going to carry that because we won't sell it again.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't.
And it was a
I'm
bit of
glad
a,
we did.
I would say it hinted on bluish gray a little bit, which means it didn't work for a bunch of the
stuff.
most popular grays now are warm grays. Those kind of taupey grays.
They match
candy
those
grays.
oranges and
And that didn't work with that railing at all.
Yep.
So it just it was a tough spot for us. So we didn't end up stocking it, and
Phew.
0 people
Dodged a bullet.
asked for it. So
nobody asked for it.
yeah. So we got some comments on here that we should go through. We'll go backwards here. Carly Matheson says every rail manufacturer needs to get rid of gloss.
So let's see how that actually goes this year. We plan to do a little bit more Fortress this year, and Fortress has a matte white.
Matte white looks sharp.
Yeah, and when I first saw it, I thought it looked kind of yellow. I didn't love it, but it's growing on me. I like it now.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not as
I do believe
polarized.
that textured black is super strong now.
100%.
It's like everybody's doing it, and
I think when it comes to blacks, I'm very strong opinion that the texture black looks way better than the gloss black.
significantly
With
better.
white, I like the look better, but I still think that gloss white also looks good.
Yeah.
But I don't think the black gloss looks very good anymore.
No, it's
It's like dirty all the time.
yeah,
and
it shows
fingerprinty.
fingerprints and yeah. So
It's just like the textured finish of the black just looks more premium, looks sharper, and the white just looks different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different look, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Quigley Cable Oil says, I find black railing is the easiest to sell because it goes well with the furniture and the grills.
Yeah, there you go.
oh, good call.
Accessories on
I
accessories.
usually don't think about the accessories when I do that. So yeah.
Vinyl Guys loves that color. I assume he means titanium slate.
Yeah,
And I
well,
wanted to
for
get
sure.
back here. RCR Renault said there is always 25% off Regal Toupee. Regal taupe railings.
Taupe.
And it's always in stock because nobody buys it. So
That's right. Yeah, always 25% off.
it's always there and it's always on sale. What's not to love, you guys?
Install more taupe.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a question I wanted to get to, though, from TC Dex that says, what are your guys' levels of importance as retailers? So I thought
good
this
question.
was a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
So as far as deck category goes, Wade, price, colors, brand, durability, scratch resistance, traction, warranty, reward and loyalty, stock, rep relationship, and thermal stability. Pick 3.
Can I see the list?
You can see the list. We won't show it to Bryce because
He's got.
he sells wine, not deck
I
boards.
sell
so-
wine, not tech boards.
Okay.
I'm the party.
Yeah, he's the thing that goes on the deck.
That's right.
So this is very different for us. I think. I believe. Oh, should I just do top 5? I think. Hey.
Sure, circle top 5, and if you
can
can number them, that'd be great. But
1.
Carly now says gloss is a magnet for dust, which is especially on the black, right?
Yeah.
I've got gloss white railing on my deck, and I don't notice the white ever. Like, it doesn't look dirty like black does, but black, you see it.
I mean, what is it? All commercial vehicles come in white for that reason.
2.
That's right. And I keep buying black trucks.
And you keep
I
buying
can
black
tell you-
trucks.
I can tell you. And gloss black trucks.
Yeah.
They should come up with a matte black truck.
Yeah. Have
all
you seen
black
those
Dodge
matte?
Ram?
Yeah.
All black?
Matte black, though.
All black Dodge Ram. Have
they
you
have a
watched that
matte
video?
black?
Have you watched the video all black Dodge Ram?
No.
No?
So go onto YouTube and type in all black Dodge Ram and watch that video. It is like, I see all black Dodge Rams everywhere. And then, so I know they're good and I know they got to be expensive. And then that makes me want an all black Dodge Ram. And you know who drives all black Dodge Rams? Guys like me. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's like a spoof, obviously.
It's a spoof,
yeah.
but yeah.
That's a good one.
Wade's having a tough time.
I am because
So while Wade's doing that, I'll give some context for why we choose what we choose.
5.
As a dealer, you're going to be concerned with who your customers are. So really, we want to carry what's important to the homeowner and to the contractor a bit, right? But the contractor also has to care a little bit about what the homeowner wants. Like at the end of this, like the end user is going to be important here. But something that dealers might be concerned with, and we've never really been too cognizant of it. Maybe it's a good thing or not, but we don't really care too much how easy something is to inventory. And I know that that's something that dealers often think about.
Yeah,
we hear that a lot. Right?
I certainly don't care about SKU count. Like you hear about some like the box stores are usually pretty hesitant to take on a line if it has a high SKU count, right? Because they have to add so many items to their inventory. And I don't think of it like that. I usually try to think about what does the customer want and how, like, because who cares if I have to add an extra 200 SKUs? It's like, it doesn't matter to me. They're going to buy that product whether I've added the SKUs or I haven't added the SKUs. They're going to buy it. And so they might as well buy it from me.
Yep.
Yeah, I think even yours and my list might be quite different actually now that I look at what you're doing. Is this for brand? Is that brand or colors? Brand?
Brand, yeah.
So you talk for a minute. I'll go through this and I'll try to think what mine are here.
Yeah.
This is decking. I'm thinking in my head with railing.
I see.
We might.
Yeah,
I was still
decking.
on rail and I was like, well, I don't think like brand really.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
You said decking.
Yeah.
So
No, you're good.
what do you want to talk about? I got a tattoo last week, Bryce.
What?
Yeah, I got a half sleeve done.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I can't show you because it's so sore. I can't take my shirt off.
Well, you're going to have to when you arm wrestle Shane. So.
Yeah. I got the tattoo done. I sent him a picture of it and he was like, I'm not arm wrestling you now. And I was like, come on, man. It's
You
like
intimidated him with
it's like
your
the
tattoo.
David and Goliath thing. I was like, if you beat me, I have this like half sleeve done. If you win, it's like you're supposed to win. You beat the really you beat the really tough guy. Anyways.
What's your tattoo of?
It represents all of the the men in my family. So my 2 grandpas, my dad, and my nephew.
Cool.
And then myself as well. So anyways, I was in Saskatoon. I went up there to do a consult with a guy who could do the style. Stopped in. We visited for a little bit. He was like, okay, put your deposit down. It's a $100 deposit. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll put my deposit in. And he was like, okay, your tattoo will be on April 23rd. And I was like, fantastic. Sounds great. And then he laughed and was like, unless you want to go tomorrow. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, I had a guy scheduled to do a full back piece tomorrow and he bailed. And so like my whole day is open tomorrow. And I said, well, let me make a phone call. And so I made a phone call. We had a meeting lined up with some guys and I asked if they could move that to Friday. The guy said he could. Phoned the tattoo shop back and was like, okay.
What tattoo shop was it?
Good to go.
Better shout them out.
Ink Addiction in Saskatoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Inca Dick what?
Inca Dick Sean. Yeah. Anyways, they did a great job. The artist's name was Steve and he was like, he's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll show you when we're done here.
Yeah.
It's tender still, but
No doubt.
4.5 hours in the chair. I sat down and it was like,
How was it? Like, were you?
I was pretty good for the
first tattoo.
no, it's my third.
Oh, okay.
I was pretty good for, I want to say I was really good for about 2.5 hours. And then like 2.5 to 3.5, I was pretty uncomfortable. 3.5 to 4, I was like
get
really
me out of
uncomfortable.
here.
And then the last half hour, I was like, I looked at the artist and was like, I can't do this anymore. And he was like, we have a half an hour left.
Come on, man.
Just do the half hour and then you don't have to come back again.
Carly says, get your truck completely done with a black bed liner. I've seen some trucks done like that. I don't know that that's the look,
I don't like
though.
that.
I don't know that I like that, but just a smoother matte finish I think would look sharp. Why don't you choose 3? We have less categories for rail, so we'll do top 3 for rail.
Yep. Yeah, so I would agree with you. I'd probably put like, if I was going to do 4, I'd do 4 here.
Yeah.
But I agree on rail with you for sure.
Okay. So to go through these, what's important to the dealer, and this is us. So to continue the conversation we were having
so
before,
basically all dealers in the world then. You
Yeah,
can take that from
Only the important dealers.
Yeah.
the reason I say made the comment before about how easy is it to inventory. The reason we know that's so important to other people is because you hear it from other yards sometimes in, amongst when you're out chatting with them, but you also hear it from the manufacturers reps that are trying to sell the dealer the rail. They use that.
Right.
And they use it on us and we're like, don't care.
It only has
4
SKUs or whatever.
And we're like,
You think I care?
yeah, but how does it go together?
400 SKUs for all I care.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's got brackets and whatever, but it only takes up 18 square feet of space to stock it. It's like, I don't care how much space it takes to stock. I want to make sure that my customers are going to enjoy using it, and they sure shit don't care how much space it takes up in my yard. So therefore I don't care.
Yeah.
You can have 100 SKUs if the system works really well. Right.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
So anyways, so as far as the decking goes, Wade, your top from a dealer perspective, you had number 1 was
Rep.
I should have made our rating look different. Rep relationship was number 1 for you. Strong on that one, hey?
Hey Shane, move the pad of paper down from your face.
Nope.
So I pick rep relationship because you don't need a rep until you need a rep.
Yeah.
And then when you have to have them, it's really, really important that they're there for you.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that, like, when we're looking to choose new brands to put in whatever, it's probably not something we consider too much, the rep relationship. It's once you've already got it and when you need them.
Yep.
But
are they there?
So that's not true, because I've also, when we get set up to purchase stuff, if the person trying to sell me the product is a total asshat, it's unlikely that I'm not going to buy that.
100%.
And so, like, I think the rep is really important. The rep is the person that's going to sell it to me, and then we end up in a relationship with that person, having to like deal with them if there's issues or even rewards after. Like, I want the people that we buy from, I want them first and foremost to be people I want to work with. And then I also want them to have my back when we get put into a tight spot. And so I think relationship is probably one of the most important things when we look at boards.
100%. And I rated that number 2. It could probably be an easy, like a number 1 for me too, now that we've kind of talked through that a little bit. But I put it number 2 as well, because it is super important. The brands that we want to do stuff with, like the brands that we want to sell more of, it's because of our relationship with the people that are doing it. This is a relationship, right? And if a rep does something and they're representing the brand, their brand, right? If they do something that pisses you off, you just don't care to make them happy anymore.
That's right.
You know what I love hearing is reps come to us and be like, you guys know that you're number 2 sales in the entire region?
Yeah.
You guys know that you sold more than this than everything? You guys know that your sales are up 200%? I like hearing that shit. And it makes me happy to know that we've made them happy. You know what I mean? Like, we like to make our customers happy. I also like to make the guy above us happy. And so I like hearing that feedback. But when that guy gives us the idea that, like, he doesn't really give a shit, doesn't have the time, doesn't whatever, the opposite's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I don't give 2 shits about making you happy anymore, because you don't give 2 shits about me.
Yeah.
So this got to work both ways. And the reason I put so much emphasis on that is it happens
all the time.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year we sit down and be like, these guys are great to work with. Like, we should do more with them. Like, I enjoy supporting them. Or we'll come out of a meeting and be like, I'm done. I'm done with these guys.
Sounds like a tender spot.
Did they even have like, and then you walk away, you like feeling a bit jaded, and it's like, they don't understand how important like working with us is a little bit.
They don't even know.
It can just be that.
They get to work with you.
That's right.
So rep relationship is very important. I put colors for number 1. And the reason I put colors for that is because I think we launch products all the time because of the colors. It's like they bring new colors and it's like, yep, we get excited about it or we don't. Now that said, it has to fulfill these other things too. I'm not going to take a Chinese imported board and it's like, oh, that's got the best color I've ever seen and then launch it. It's more than just colors, but
colors don't work for me.
But the colors on the wall, like, I think this is assuming already that, because we only stock good brands. Like, we've already vetted the things there. So like, do I need brands as a high thing? I didn't even put it as a high thing because to me, it's just like, I guess it's just a given. I'm never going to consider a shitty brand. Right. But to me, the brand isn't brand awareness. I don't care how much the customer is aware of it. Right. It's got to be a good product. I can worry about helping the brand. We can sell it. Right. Like, we sell products all the time that people have never heard of.
Right. This is true.
So I just didn't rank it as high, but the colors, that's what people look at. They come into we don't even have branding on our walls right now. We want to, but we don't. So when somebody comes into our store, they're looking at colors. They're not looking at what's brand is this.
Yeah. And I guess when I was thinking, well, go ahead. Just let you number two.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about brands, I wanted them to be like a reputable brand. And so yes, nobody in Regina knows what Wolf Decking is, but the company's been around for 135 years. The brand is...
It's about 178, I think.
Sure, whatever. The first 40, they were
just... you don't get an email from
they were just
guys.
practicing.
What are you guys saying about us?
There's like 175 a few years ago, so it's got to be like 177.
Anyways, I just think that I think their brand name is important. I don't know that it's important to have people here know about it, but I think it's important to know that they've been around and that...
So we might have missed the ball in this by not just calling one quality, like the perceived quality, because I think that would probably be my number one. This is a good product, first and foremost.
Overall quality.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because I could live with, a couple years ago when we were selling and stocking Clubhouse, I could live with the fact that the brand was not strong. Nobody knew what Clubhouse was. The colors were okay.
Yeah.
They weren't super inspired colors, but it was a great product.
Yes, it was.
It had great traction, great durability, wood in it, so it was
easy to bend,
good warranty. It was there was a lot of pros about it. Overall, it was a good quality board, so I was okay to overlook the fact that the colors weren't as pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty plain.
Nobody knew the brand, but anyway. So number two for me, I had already said was rep relationship, but for you, it was warranty.
Yeah, and again that goes back to if something fails, if the board falls down somehow, I need to make sure that the customer is looked after because they're not going to end up on my rep's doorstep. They're going to end up at ours.
Right, exactly.
And so I want to know that the stuff we sell out of this store, that we can stand behind it because they don't ever get to the manufacturer. They get to us. Then we get to the manufacturer, right? So that was why I picked warranty as number two. It's just got to be, it's got to help.
Yeah. Number three for both of us. Stock availability.
And again, that could be a problem from this year. That could be a overstated thing.
We know,
but we have struggled in the past about getting product, and that's frustrating.
Yes,
and it doesn't show up until June
because we've been on all ends of this. Because we stock a variety of brands. We got 5 brands here. Some are really easy to get, some are a little bit harder to get, and some are really hard to get. And I know that, you take the good with the bad sometimes, and it's this stuff, we like this one for a lot of reasons, so even though it's harder to get, we're just going to make peace of that, but it's frustrating as all hell. So
yeah,
because it ends up, again, the customer ends up kind of complaining to you, or the contractor's complaining to you, and at the end of the day, we possibly make the contractor look bad, right? Because the contractor tells the homeowner they're going to sell this product and they're going to get it from the deck shop, we're going to get it out here, and it's going to be on this day, and then it doesn't happen. And it's now the contractor looks bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough, man. That's a tough pill to swallow for us.
That's the one that bites us in the ass. Yeah. The most the other way. If we don't get that right, we get our shit chewed out, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a board's quality isn't good or it scratches easy, that doesn't reflect on us.
Yeah.
That's the product's shitty.
Yep.
But people know that that's not our fault.
Yep.
The stock availability, if we don't have it, that's the first thing people think. It's your fault.
It's your fault. Yeah.
Because we didn't bring it in properly.
And anything you try to say it's, it's we can't get it, the manufacturer. Yeah. You're passing the buck. I get it. Get the freaking product for me. You know what I mean? This is the one that reflects the worst on us.
That's
that one's important. So number 4, Wade, you would put brand awareness.
Yeah. And so again, that maybe falls into the group of just good quality board, right? So the brand awareness, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that it was a good brand.
Yeah.
Not New Tech Wood or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe not that brand specifically, but I didn't want it to be a poor company.
Right.
Selling the board. And then 5, I had durability. 4, you had durability.
Yep.
5, you had scratches.
Yeah, which kind of plays in it as well. The reason I put that, I guess, is because we talk about that a lot and customers ask about it. Just from scratch. And so some do, and some do easily, and some don't easily, and
some do and some don't.
And within the same brand, even sometimes, and a Trex is a good example of that. Scratch durability is one of the things you get when you increase into the higher priced boards in the lineup.
Yeah.
they don't pull any punches. It's on their own material that the scratch durability of their Enhanced Basics line is not as good as it is on the Transcend line. But that's the upsell. That's the value that you're getting for going up to the higher board. And so that's fine. And that's usually the case with most entry level stuff. They're not super durable as far as scratching. That said, in real world applications, it's like all decks are going to scratch at some point. And even the easy ones don't, it's not like they look like absolute garbage from sliding some chairs around the odd time. Like it takes some effort to still scratch them. Like our Enhanced Basics displays or Naturals displays downstairs have been down there for a full year. There's not a single scratch on them. We've had thousands of people walking all over them. Yeah. Like it's not that they're,
and like sliding their feet on them. They're like, they're not legitimately trying to scratch them. So when you see people take a sample and they put a key to it and they're like, how does this scratch? It's like, when was the last time you saw somebody actually scratch your deck with a key?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't. And so you can scratch sample boards, no problem. But sample decks, like a deck that is actually built, if you go into any of your like stores, like specialty stores, you'll notice that those decks are not in terrible shape because they don't like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you don't notice it, how bad is it?
It's not bad.
Yep.
Okay. Railing?
It's a big list. Railing. Yeah. So number one for the railing category for you, Wade, was...
Same as
you
yours.
agreed. We agreed on these ones pretty close. So number one we thought was speed of install.
I think it's important
Ease
to
of
be able
install.
to sell that. And whether that's DIY or contractor, time is important. If you're a DIY and you're working on the weekend trying to put your railing together, you don't want it to take 2 weekends or 3 weekends. I want it to be able to like put it up that weekend so you can enjoy it with your family, have a sense of accomplishment, right?
Yep.
Brag to your family how super talented you are as a carpenter. It's like, check this out.
Yep. Yeah, we saw
Does it feel good?
we saw the primarily two customer groups, guys who are doing it themselves and contractors. And this is a win-win for both of them.
Yeah.
Guys doing it self, you want it to be easy to figure out. We don't want to be like him calling us and be like, how do I do this? It's crazy. And then on the other side, it's like the contractors, time is money. And we know that they're going to appreciate getting in and out on a job and be able to put up a good quality railing in less time than some other good quality railing. So why not? Number two, we both put was price.
Yeah.
It's an aggressive market. I would say probably argue, well, I don't know if it's more than decking, but it's like people don't care as much about the color. You're competing more on price on decking than you are on railing than you are in colors, I think. There's less things at play. I'm buying white railing. So which one, and I'm buying aluminum. So which one's the cheapest? Right. That's much more likely to happen than I'm buying gray decking. Which one's the cheapest? Because there's other things they may consider. But with railing, it's like price matters, and price matters to contractors a lot on railing, I would say. And well, I guess the data would say otherwise, but no, that's not true. It was the second highest thing.
Fake news. All this
So it
data
matters,
was all
right?
fake news.
Shane just made it up.
So that matters. So we both think it matters too. Number three for both of us again was stock availability, and this is again top of mind because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yep.
So we've had some really good luck, like you said, with Regal's always been pretty good stock wise. Century's been okay unless you need something that's not sitting at the distributor, and Fortress has not been great in the past.
And we made that known.
And so
We told that to their face, not just behind their back on the podcast.
Yeah.
It was like,
and it was more, it's more just been the last couple of years, the start of the year stock. Once they get it in and get it rolling, then it's fine. But it's just like
getting that first
shipment for some reason been an issue the last couple of years. So anyways, we're hoping to get that cleared up because we do stock it and it is a great product. So if we can get that taken care of, but that just shows you like, that's important to us. You can't sell it if you don't freaking have it. Or if you have it and the guy needs one more part, but you can't, but it takes 4 weeks for the part to get in, like that's no good for anybody.
Yeah.
Railing is supposed to be the last 1 day thing that you're done. Like railing doesn't take that long at the end.
Right. You shouldn't have to go back 3 or 4 times.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
The lights at the end of the tunnel at that point. And then you said if we were going to do number 4, it'd be rep relationship. And I would say that's correct too. And I would say that Regal does a good job of that. They have local reps. We see him from time to time. Whereas Century relies on their distribution rep. Regal doesn't do distribution, so that's the difference, right?
You betcha.
They don't have a distribution rep locally because they direct sell.
That's correct.
Our Century rep is down the street. He's 2 blocks from us. That said, we see the Regal guy more. Right?
Whoa.
It's true.
The Fortress...
But he's like the Century reps repping all kinds of stuff.
He's not just a railing rep.
Insulation and lumber and decking and...
For sure.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Some final comments before we peace out of here. Illuminated Balustrade says year in Australia, terrible warranty / support. I don't know what that's referring to.
Here
in Australia, terrible warranty support.
That is
For the bad brands, I'm guessing.
comment before, maybe?
Yeah, 'cause he was
Vinyl guy says welded picket is king, or he's asking, and it's like, yeah, it absolutely is. The pre-assembled panels, we're big fans of that. And so that's the funny thing that for Century, for example, we're the only guys in the province of Saskatchewan. Lots of guys stock Century, not lots, but there's a handful of guys that stock Century. We're the only ones that stock the pre-assembled panels. Everybody else stocks the.
Is that true?
Yes.
The competitors, the yellow competitors in town, don't stock that.
The pre-welded,
Yeah.
they weren't. No.
Oh, really?
And so everybody else is stocking the component stuff, and we're stocking the pre-welded panels. And I know when we were asking for it, the distributor was like, "Well, we don't really want to bring those in because
You're the only guys carrying
nobody
it.
wants those because they want the stuff that goes small into a little cubby. They don't want panels that are 8 feet long by 42 inches high or 40 inches high because it takes up a lot of room." And we're like, yeah, whatever, give us that. It's a way better install and faster. So give us those ones. So we order them. They cost a little bit more than doing the pre-assembled picket, but
It's so
or
fast.
sorry, the non-pre-assembled.
Yeah, it's so fast to put in. I can't imagine doing. Yeah. Anyways, that's why we carried, I guess.
And then Fortress is also pre-assembled. So 2 out of the 3
you go.
systems we stock are pre-assembled for a reason. One is because that's the only option they have. The other one, they have both options and we choose that one. And then finally, Regal doesn't have that option. They do in the urban rail, but we don't stock the urban rail. It's lower quality, lower price rail.
Yeah.
Dum,
Yeah.
bum, bum.
And then Carly Matheson says, I have yet to hear someone ask if the railing is strong. And Vinyl Guy says that should be a given. And Carly says, should be, Ryan, but you know better than most what is out there. And Vinyl Guy says, yeah, I know more, and I know more than you. And Carly says, that's fighting words. And then Ryan's from Vinyl Guys says, it's on, bitch. And then so anyway, that's the end of the podcast. I think that should be it should be a given. It should be a given, but there's some systems out there that aren't.
Nobody cares. Customers don't ask.
Customers just assume if you're selling them railing, it's designed to hold them on their deck.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's not like, is this one gonna fail on me if I fall leading against it? It's just like not.
Yep.
So anyway, boy, I thought this was a short episode, to be quite honest. Earlier today when I decided
1 hour
what
and
we were going to
35
do, I was like,
minutes.
this will be like a 45-minute, and here we are, Wade.
Yeah.
Apparently it was really good and a pretty solid audience through the Instagram all day today too.
It hasn't even shut off on
So
us.
apparently this was a really good one.
Remember when we were talking about podcasts this morning? You and I were talking about podcasts. It might have been yesterday because you weren't here this morning. But
I was baking chicken, bro. Not true. Deep fried chicken.
we were talking about how the podcasts were 19-minute podcasts that we listened to, and both of us were like, "Oh yeah, I really like those ones.
Good. Those are good.
I
ones.
really like those short
I really like those short podcasts. They're so great." What do you do? We do 2-hour ones. Why? Because F them. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
This is about me, not you. So
We got lots of info we're putting into these things. Plus, I think our listeners are dry. Like they work in bigger cities. They're in their trucks a lot. They're on the job site.
you got me back on the podcast train the other day. You sent me a couple, and so now I've started to listen to them again. I had been off.
Finally.
I'd been off the podcast for a while. So, but I'm back on listening again. So
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Bryce, any surprises from today? Other than the topic, that was a surprise to you.
It was a surprise topic to me.
so fun.
No,
you didn't even know we did a survey, but
No.
Me either. You're not
Do
the
you
only
see
one.
either way? So double surprise.
yeah. Well, now you know what the survey says. Till next week, everybody, take care. Build lots of decks. Build rail. Stay warm.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.